Yo, Twitter finally has competition. And Moist Critical gonna tell us about it. Shit. So let's learn something.
To see someone
Learn me something,
never give
Critical.
up in the face of adversity, to push forward and achieve great things, like Rocky or Will Smith in I, Robot, when he was telling people like, hey, these robots are a little fishy, and they said, hey pal, you just blowing from stupid town? And then turns out he was right, and he still protected us anyway. Point is, this is the backbone to so many of the best stories ever told in books, movies, TV shows, and anime. It's like one of the 10 commandments of anime for every protagonist, just that never quitting attitude. But in the real world, when companies in particular adopt this never give up mentality, it's pretty embarrassing and pathetic. In particular, when it comes to Meta, or as you know them, Facebook, because nobody really knows this fucking clown company.
Who actually
Facebook? Meta's.
Who actually calls fucking Facebook Meta? I've only heard my professors in college call it Meta. And that's only when they refer, and then they also like AKA also referred to it as Facebook. No one calls that shit Meta. You can't rebrand like one of the biggest fucking platforms in the world. I don't think that's possible. Unless they actually were to have made the metaverse successful, which it won't be yet.
Been on a bit of a cold streak recently, with the most recent embarrassing blunder being the metaverse. More like Meta reimburse everyone who bought into that scam.
Facts, exactly.
Being sold as like the way of the future nowadays.
Bro, the metaverse was literally just VR chat. Meta, like their actual meta rooms and shit, that shit was just VR chat. And it was just a worse VR chat with less features. That shit was so dumb.
It's just a barren, empty wasteland of broken dreams and broken promises. The goofballs just made a virtual reality experience more primitive than Roblox and Second Life.
Literally.
It's just shameful. But they didn't give up. They didn't quit. They said, you know what? That was so good, we're going to do it a second time. What about Second Breakfast? So they're trying another venture here, and it's actually opening to pretty big success. And it's what we're talking about today. Threads, a Twitter competitor. Twitter's had its own
shit, with how much of a fucking garbage platform Twitter has become, I might check out Threads. Why not? There ain't no reason not to. I mean, shit. Might as well. You might as well.
Series of missteps, quite a few.
If I can only look at 500 tweets a day, might as well. Might as well go check out some Threads, motherfucker.
Few blunders.
If I could only watch 500, if 500 TikToks a day is fucking ridiculous. So that's like that's incomparable. If I could watch a limited number of TikToks, shit, why not just go watch infinite like YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels or some shit? You know what I'm saying?
They've given up Scholar's Mate a few times here. And it looks like Meta's trying to strike while the iron's hot, so they released their own Twitter competitor called Threads. When looking it up, I saw this headline: Meta's Twitter competitor for friendly conversation launches early. And this feels like the worst article ever written to promote something. Calling it a place for friendly conversation makes it sound like Weenie Hut Jr., where you're not allowed to go in there unless you're wearing elbow and knee pads. Not that I like Twitter. I think, and I've been very vocal about this, I think Twitter fucking sucks. I don't think the world was ready for a platform like that, and it is just the absolute worst thing for a human being's mental health. And now for the first time, we're being cursed with a platform that threatens Twitter's stranglehold on brain rot. This is like that scene out of Godzilla where he says, let them fight. We now have two kaijus going to war over poisoning your mind, basically. So you have Twitter, which is no stranger to horrible decisions, and now you have Meta with Threads, which is no stranger to horrible decisions. Obviously, Meta's mainly going to be using this for more data harvesting, I imagine, since that's kind of their bread and butter behind their business models. But this is a big deal because Twitter now has actual competition in the space. And it doesn't seem like they like this ball game very much because apparently
Twitter threatens to sue Meta after rival app Threads gains traction. Sounds like an L for fucking Elon. Yeah, no, that's not gonna work. How the fuck is that gonna work? How do you can't what? It's just a forum page basically. It's just a worldwide forum. Is that not what Twitter is basically?
Twitter is threatening to sue Meta for Threads right now, saying that it stole their trade secrets. I don't know what Krabby Patty secret formula they think they cooked up there, but Twitter itself was already derivative of some of the old message boards from way back in the day. It just kind of became streamlined on Twitter, and everything just got so concentrated on the internet as a whole that everyone flocked to Twitter for the experience. I don't know.
I've never been a
exactly if
Twitter
they have a
fan.
strong
I've never
case
really used
against
Twitter
Meta
like
here
that.
for
Every once in a while, I'll get like a Twitter notification. I'll go and fucking scroll for like 2 minutes, and I'm like, oh, this shit sucks. I'm gonna go look at a better platform. Here I come, TikTok.
Threads. So I guess we'll just have to see how that whole soap opera plays out. But honestly, the biggest thing about this announcement that I see nobody talking about for some reason is the fact that Meta maliciously calculated today as their launch day because they knew that I was dropping our Plague Seeker animation. They wanted to take the wind out of our sails, knowing that Plague Seeker was going to hog all of the internet's attention for today, so they had to drop Threads in order to take the wind out of our sails. Which is foul play from Meta, but I'd expect nothing less from fucking Zuckerbot. So don't let them win. Go watch the Plague Seeker animation. We worked very hard on that. But anyway, I don't want to get too lost in the sauce here at the buffet. So before the steam keeps pouring out of my ears, let's focus on Threads.
We'll watch the Plague Seeker animation. Let's check that out after this.
How important competition is, and more now than ever, since everything is getting so concentrated on the internet, where pretty much all discussions are happening on either Twitter or Reddit and like nowhere else these days. I always think competition is a great thing. But that being said, Twitter sucks shit through a crazy...
But everything's just better like that, don't you think? Because then you don't have to go to 20 different fucking platforms to figure out what's going on. It's like the streamer wars. Like the streaming wars. You start just not caring about some shit that comes out on some platforms unless it's like ridiculously fucking good. I'm not going to pay attention to 12 different streaming platforms all the time. What? Who cares about that? Nah, if there was 12 Twitters, I'm not gonna pay attention. If there's like 1, 2, 3, it makes it more convenient. You know what I'm saying? It just does. That's how it is.
Crazy straw.
People like convenience.
I am not thrilled about making another Twitter account on something called Threads. I don't need a Twitter 1.5. I already don't like current Twitter, so why would I come around for the sequel here? I don't need too fast to Twitter, so I'm not going to make a Threads account. But I'm glad that it exists, and I hope it does become successful. So that way Twitter doesn't have a stranglehold on brain rot anymore. They can now share the neural load. And maybe, now we're just spitballing utopias. Maybe Threads actually does become a great social media platform somehow. And Twitter can just kind of be like this quarantine zone for, wild, wacky nonsense. It could just be like the fucking loony bin, right? Then I'd make the switch to Threads. But for now, I don't need another Twitter, so I'm not going to be signing up for it. I'm not exactly scratching at my neck for more of that experience. But like I said, competition is great, and I do hope Threads can at least threaten Twitter enough so that way both can improve. So that way you're not stuck with constant dog shit changes that make the user experience worse. The most important thing to remember about competition, that it is always the best thing for consumers. You want competition.
Yeah, true.
This isn't me trying to hypnotize you. I'm telling you a fact. You want competition. You don't want one entity to have all of the power when it comes to a market share like this. So it's good.
Then you get Twitch-type decisions.
I don't like Twitter, so I'm not making a Threads account.
Then you get Twitch-type decisions.
But I'm out here rooting for it, even though it is one of Meta's. But at least now you get the choice. Do you want to stay on Twitter, or do you want to go to fucking Mark Zuckerberg's booty here and suckle on that for the Twitter experience? You get choices now. And since I don't have a Threads account, I've just been reading people's personal accounts of the site.
It's out now?
Apparently they're not allowing like pornographic material, and they're also like censoring
people, never mind, not using Threads.
I don't know how true these claims are right now because I'm getting conflicting
Threads, that's the downfall. That's the downfall. That's the only thing carrying Twitter right now. That is what is carrying Twitter. If they don't allow that, then who the fuck cares? Not making an account. What the fuck?
And if both of these claims are true,
I'm not making an account for that shit.
A big L, but not having it constantly feeding you pornographic material, I actually think is a good thing. I don't know if that's a hot take.
Nah, L decision. It's gonna tank it, bro. That's the only reason people use Twitter. Nah, I mean, yeah, bro. It's the only reason people use Twitter, bro.
Or not. I was talking about this on stream last night. I never stopped to think about just how weird it was that Twitter is a platform that you have to be 13 or older to sign up for, and it just has porn plastered all over the place. And it's super common, especially in replies. And this is a platform that is, again, 13, which is below the legal age for porn consumption, which is 18. And it just wasn't even something I even thought about until a couple people on Twitter started mentioning it, and I was like, huh, that's an interesting point. And the majority of the time, it's not age-gated at all. You just immediately get fed the content with no, like, safeguard in place or anything.
But that depends who you follow on Twitter, Charlie. So who the fuck you following, okay? That's all dependent on who you follow.
You'll read a goofy tweet that you're giggling about, such as the timeless classic, dude walked into the pee store and said, "Is this the poop store?" It's like, brother, look around. And you're, busting a gut laughing at it, having a old belly laugh, and then you scroll into the reply section to see who else is laughing with you, and then bang, just a full picture of a gaping, leaking butthole and an OnlyFans link. And it's like, what the fuck?
True.
Yeah, I'm not exactly going to be crying about the lack of porn on Threads if that is the decision they decide to make. But I did look up some complaints that a couple of articles have noted. So I'm just going to go through those real quick because, again, I'm not making an account on Threads right now, so I don't know firsthand what the experience is like. According to this article, you can't set Threads to view only posts from accounts you follow, which, again, this just feels like they rushed it out and just didn't bother putting this in yet, but will be coming shortly if I had to guess, because this is a pretty obvious one that they'd need to have set up. There's also no web interface, but you can read the threads on the website, but you can't post them or interact with them in any way. And apparently you can't delete your Threads profile without deleting your Instagram, which seems like a pretty big oversight. But yeah, it seems like something a lot of people will have an issue with down the line. According to the quote here, you can deactivate it, but you can't delete it without, also annihilating your Instagram account. Also, there's no search functionality right now in Threads. It only lets you find user accounts. So they do say that they'll be adding more.
So is Threads its own app? Hold on, I gotta look this up. I gotta figure this out. Hold the fuck on. Hold on, checking the App Store. Checking the fucking App Store. Threads. Huh. Wait, what? Is this it? Chart #1 social networking. Is this it? I don't see no reviews yet. Is this the fucking app? Developer, Instagram Inc. Apps, Instagram. Is this the app, nigga? Huh. It just looks like Instagram, but like just Instagram. It looks like Instagram before you could post. No, that's not true. You could always post. You could just couldn't post videos at one point. It looks like Instagram, but just Instagram comments right now.
Features to help.